So, welcome to the WITSA Women in Tech series this morning. And for all of you all over the world, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Today, we have Dr. Carrine Teoh, a technology, governance, and cybersecurity leader with over 20 years of cross sector experience spanning engineering, technology, critical infrastructure protection, and corporate business strategy. She currently serves as the president of the ASEAN CXO Association Cybersecurity and Governance chapter, where she plays a pivotal role in driving regional digital collaboration, enhancing cyber resilience, and bridging the gap between technical governance and C-suite strategy across Southeast Asia. In addition to her regional leadership, she holds board-level oversight as an independent non-executive director for SciComm MSC Berhad. Did I say it right?
Correct.
Nice. All right, good. Dr. Teoh's extensive expertise covers risk management, data protection, business continuity, and digital economy ecosystems. A passionate advocate for building the next generation of tech talent, she was a foundational force behind Malaysian Women in Security and actively mentors female technologists globally. Her profound impact on the landscape has earned her prestigious accolades, including being named the top 30 women in cybersecurity in ASEAN, Digitech Brand Leadership Award, Asia Top 50 Women Tech Leaders Advisor, and the top 10 LinkedIn ASEAN cybersecurity influencers. Today, Dr. Teoh brings an elite balance of business acumen and deep technical literacy to our conversation. Please welcome Dr. Carrine Teoh. Good morning, Dr. Teoh.
Good morning. Hi, all. This is Dr. Carrine Teoh speaking, and very good morning, and very happy to be part of this series. And thank you, Aslina, for the invitation. Thank you, WITSA.
WITSA.
WITSA. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So let's just dive into the conversation that we have this morning. The topic is championing leadership in the digital age with the theme Women Leading the Future of Tech and Innovation. So, Dr. Teoh, how would you describe your leadership philosophy and how has it evolved as the digital landscape or has it evolved as the digital landscape has changed around you?
Okay. Okay. First of all, I always anchor in terms of my leadership and also my style based on three main, I would say, pillars. I will actually always anchor it based on purpose, trust, and also inclusive impact. Purpose, I think, as leaders, we need to have clarity in terms of our direction, in terms of our purpose, and also the vision that where we are. We are as leader, right? We are leading the troop. So where are we taking them? The clarity of it must be there as a leader. And trust is very important because that's the foundation of all. As a leader, you are a good leader if your team trusts you. And you are a good leader if you trust team. So that is a relationship that goes both ways, right? So it's from as a leader to the team and also the team to the leader. So trust is very important. Something that, of course, it will come with time and also we come with experience, right? So that doesn't happen automatically. Inclusive impact. I think that's something that all of us eventually ask ourselves, so what are we contributing? What's our impact, right? What's our contribution? Are we bringing changes? Are we bringing values? So that's something that also is very important as a leader, right? To look into how, especially in technology is fast. It is, I would say, that a very powerful weapon if we use it correctly. So leader in technology, how can we bring inclusive impact to all? So here we're talking about sustainability and also well-being for all stakeholders, because it should not only be one layer in terms of impact, and this in terms of technology and the impact that it can create, it has a lot of ripple effects and also a lot more economic gains that can outflow and go through much more than the first layer that we are actually impacting, right? And that brings us to also fulfilling the promise and also the aim of the whole digital age. So yeah, so I think that is usually something that I'll fall back on.
Mm-hmm. So I heard there trust, time, impact,
Purpose, yeah, impact.
purpose, yeah, inclusivity. So, what would be the defining moment in your career that has tested your leadership ultimately that shaped
Um,
you as a leader today?
Okay. Of course, previously, as we were moving through the career path, right? We are always a leader, um, part of person, part of the team, and then part of the leading the team, delivering results is always in terms of technology results, or in my case, cybersecurity results, what are we seeing it and all that, right? So now we are not only looking into that. So the point comes is I would say that it's not a sudden turning point per se, but now I'm moving actually more towards in terms of governance and also higher oversight of things. So that means that the leadership style will be not only solving problem in hands, it's kind of a lot of firefighting and all that, right? So now is looking and also looking into the situation, looking into the whole, I would say, um, problem, in a more holistic way, bigger picture, how does it gonna impact in terms of long run? A lot more layers in terms of how does this action is gonna take us. So yeah,
So yeah, so managing change is constant, right? So it's today, tomorrow,
yeah.
future. I would say that digital transformation is moving at an unprecedented pace. So, how do you stay adaptable and continue to lead with such clarity?
Yeah, I think for that, right? Technology, I mean, I've been in the field of technology over 20 years, and in technology, we always say half a year is one cycle, So basically, technology changes all the time, but that goes back to our foundation, our fundamentals that have to be strong. So in terms of competency, in terms of knowledge, the basics a lot of time doesn't change. I would say that in terms of the technology, a lot of times is the look and feel and the terms, they keep on changing everything. So that you have to be clear in terms of that. And something that I always take with me is to be curious. I'm always learning and I'm always open to more learning, So because I'll be like, teach me, teach me. I want to know what's this all about and all these things. So I think that's a attitude that I mean I had since from school, from uni, and from throughout the time. So that's why I used to be from electrical electronics background, and then I'm doing cybersecurity and all that. So be curious, and then also the discipline to know that what are the things that we need to know, right? Discipline to go in depth in terms of so how are we going to solve this and all that. So I think that is also very important.
Mhm.
Asking the right questions. So I think in the world of AI, asking the right prompt, right? So, but even before all that, right? So is asking the right questions, not only externally, but it's also internally. We have to be,
Right,
how to say, we need to have a basis. We need to have a fundamentals in terms of um, so who we are, what we want to do, what value we want to carry, and how are we gonna contribute better. It should be a compounding effect. It should not be a yes and no, right? So that are the things that I think that I believe in, and that's what I've been practicing so far.
right. Okay.
Mm.
So, despite the drive and the ambitiousness, and also, the everything, the effort and hard work that we've put into, I would say women remain underrepresented in the tech leadership globally. not just in this region, not just in ASEAN, but globally. So, in your opinion, what systemic changes do you believe are most urgently needed for women who are meant to strive in this industry?
I would say that, yeah, I think that's something that we read all the time, right? So I picked numbers from a Grant Thornton's study that they've done. Workforce entry in terms of technology itself, we go in almost on par, about 50% of women in technology going at the entry level. When you move into management level, you'll be falling about 39% or so.
Mm-hmm.
Senior leadership, and it goes to 29, right? So what happened? So
Yeah.
this is numbers that inch a little bit, certain percentage from time to time. But as you say, we are still seeing that, how to say, decline. Is it because of the plan out career path is not strategic enough? Because as you say, like, be it career path, be it career choices, nothing is straightforward. It's just like life, right? Nothing is a straight line, and this is how it's gonna be, right? So it's just that, do we have to say that, the environment, the ecosystem to support it, you know, and all that. I think that is very important. And at the same time, is that that also something that from the women in tech as the professionals itself, um, as we mentioned earlier on, technology moves very fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Half a year, 1 year, you're out tech force, and you'd be like, what's what's new? It's like everything else is new, right? So
Or what just happened?
yeah,
So,
and and
yeah.
and what happened is, like, every half a year is like the whole paradigm or landscape have changed. So
Mm-hmm.
on that part itself, as a professional, be curious, keep learning, you know. So that is
Okay.
something that, I mean, of course, you always say that what they can be done and everything, but I always say that it's always a two-way street,
Okay.
isn't it?
Just a tweak a little bit to follow up on what you just answered.
Yeah.
So, in your case, in your experience, what was something that you needed to do to pivot and making sure that you stay ahead? In
Okay.
Yeah.
So I always keep myself to be in the know, keeping abreast in terms of what's happening in terms of the technology. Read up, white papers, read up in terms of publications and all that. So, and also we have a lot of, I would say that, professional networking groups. If you're in cyber, there's professional cyber groups and everything. Um, have a chat, have a chit chat, how what's happening, everything, to know what's on the ground. So don't be totally out of touch, and then you'll be like, I want to be in. It doesn't happen that way, right? So you have to be at least kind of like, not to be totally out of it, so that you are keeping yourself to be abreast in terms of what's happening in technology, what's happening in the industry, and all that. So I think that is important.
Okay, yeah. I understand that you operate across industry. You also work into policy. You mentioned white paper,
Yeah.
getting to know the other industry players in cybersecurity and
Mm.
governance. So, how do those different worlds inform and strengthen you as well as each other?
Okay. So yeah, so I come from, I would say that, that give me multiple lenses, that give me
Mm.
multiple perspectives. So that's why I would say that the integrator. So it's like I totally can understand what is the business point of view when this say certain things and all that, and also understand the motivation behind the questioning. And they're like, hi, why are you drilling so hard in terms of that? And the tech guy will be like, no, this is what it is. So of course that doesn't happen, right? So how to say, be it in technology space and other space, even manufacturing and everything, there's also always something that, what is the meeting point? What is the meeting point, right? Be it from the policy side, from the technology side or even from the business side of things. So something that we have to understand is that so that's what I'm trying to bring the value here in terms of integrating of understanding of what is each other's objective and also
Mm-hmm.
pain point, right? And of course, it's like there is the balance that we need to find in order to
Right.
find the right, I would say, that solution for the whole, I would say, not necessarily a company to even can be just for space and the ecosystem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that answer very much. So, when it comes to empathy, for example, so how do you practice reciprocity as a leader? How do you lift others while making sure that you don't compromise your own ambitions and like bringing everybody up as well while you are growing? How do you do
So
that?
um, I always walk into a room, right? Be it for a meeting, for a conference, and so forth. It's like with a mind to say, I'm here to learn. I'm
Yeah.
here to learn. So because the thing is that I always believe that we can learn from anyone and also everyone. Either we can learn all in terms of like the experiences and all that. So I always do like to ask questions and all that. And at the same time too, I would like to share in terms of my experiences and also contribute towards that. So that's why I do quite a bit of mentoring, through different platforms and of course different organizations and all that. And I do speak in conferences and also in forums, and also in terms of connecting people and network. So a lot of time they'll be like, people will be calling me, guess what? I need somebody of this sort of experience. Do you have anyone? And a lot of times I'll be like, I think I might have somebody or two to recommend. So I think that is always good. And the thing with technology industry is that eventually everyone will know everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
whether,
yeah.
yeah, so in terms of reliability, in terms of you are the go-to and so forth. So that also always how to say, that is how we build the industry and that's how we build the community too. To know that at any time I need help, there are people that I can call, be like, hey, I need this. Do you have anybody to recommend? So and all that. So that I will say that it's very important. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of that through my ASEAN CXO association. So that's within the ASEAN context. And I'm also, as you say, mentioned earlier on, I'm also a president of my alma mater's alumni. I'm from NTU Singapore. So within NTU alumni network itself, we are in 171 countries.
Wow.
So yeah, so that itself is like, every country I go, I'll have somebody to call it, hey. And a lot of time that is a good also check because that are verified sources and all that, right? So that is very important. And also, of course, through this, the aim is like the like-minded is always, you know, we should
Mm-hmm.
always gather and build in terms of sharing experiences and all that. Because I always believe into the compounding effect. 1 + 1 is not equals to 2, right?
No.
It's actually
Right.
much more than that. Yeah. So yeah, that's something that I believe.
Okay.
Mm.
And have you ever come across a situation where your your principle is tested? For example, if you're in a project and it
Mm.
there is always that deadline and speed and time is of the essence, and everything has to move so fast. So has there been a particular incident where speed and ethics sometimes feel like they are not in tension, or they contradict each other?
Yeah. So I think that's how to say falls back into how are we grounded, right? So we're grounded with, as I mentioned earlier on, is the right purpose, be purposeful, and eventually we need to balance out. Of course, in technology, speed is everything, right? Everything must be fast and everything, but what are we foregoing here? What is the one that we are diluting and all that? So a lot of times, is it a balance that we need to look at in terms of, yes, we don't have to go maximum speed, but it's a speed that's comfortable enough that we can cover in terms of trust, especially when it comes to technology, right? Digital trust, your ethics, your privacy, and all that. Because eventually, what we are looking for is a purposeful and also impactful, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that our decisions today might not, the repercussion might not be seen today. It could be down the road, So as you mentioned earlier on about ethics and all that. So anything that touches in terms of breach of ethics and everything, it goes further down the road, is it might not be immediate. So, but these are the things that we have to be clear in terms of like what is that, and that is also in terms of how we look at in terms of risk, right? Risk
Mm-hmm.
management and all those things. Why are we going here? Why why do we need to go at that speed and all that? So what is the balance? What is the midpoint, or not even necessarily midpoint, but what is a point that we can tweak that is doable? So it's not a either or.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. You mentioned earlier in the interview that um, in leadership specifically, you need time to build trust, sustain trust, and it's very important for you to make sure that you come forward as someone that who wants to learn constantly, right? So, how did you do it? How did you build that trust within your organization or your industry colleagues? And how did you do it personally? And how did you know that, okay, I have finally gotten the trust of my colleagues?
Okay, that's interesting. I think trust is not like this. Suddenly today you're not and tomorrow you are. So,
Yeah,
right, it builds over time. So it's not something that is like kind of like a on and off switch sort of thing too.
yeah.
So it's more of like it's incremental thing, right? So and I suppose that goes concurrently. First of all, competency is definitely have to be there, right?
Mhm,
So to build trust, you need to uh, perform and demonstrate that you are competent. You know your stuff, right? Need to be consistent in terms of your deliverables and your values, right? And I also believe that you need to be transparent and in terms of your actions and where you're coming from. So
mm,
that itself, they know that okay, she is a reliable source, right? So you say that people go to and all that. So they're like, yeah, so I mean, she's a reliable source to go to and so forth. So that builds through time, you know, through actions, because that
mhm.
can be seen, right? And also a lot of times is that to be reliable. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like that word reliable, which is something that we women are, I think, in general. So, um, first entry level, we are 50-50. And then
Yep.
mid level, we go down 39. And then senior leadership, we go down further.
Yeah.
So, my question to you is, how do you see us in the leadership role 10 years from now? And what needs to happen for us to get there?
Okay. So first of all, I believe that they always ask is like how to say in terms of building or even cultivating a STEM workforce, right? technologies and everything. So we're talking about in the ecosystem of technology only, right? To say that how do we groom leaders of women and technology? First of all, we need to build the the passion, the curiosity, and also the how to say the eagerness to learn about technology and sciences and all that. And that have to happen since young. You
Mm-hmm.
can't tell a kid, that go to school and by A level take all your sciences and jump into science, right? So I think so. That's why a lot of times, sometimes we have graduates like graduate as computer science or biological science, and by the time they graduate, it's okay. I've graduated, but now I'm going to do what I like. So,
Yeah.
so we see a lot of that. So that's because perhaps the interest is not really there in the first place. And that's something that as a family member, as an uncle, auntie, mom, or dad, that you can expose the children to
Mm-hmm.
STEM in terms of the wonder and what can do and everything. So as we can see in terms of how technology and sciences have evolved with the right basics, right? The how to say the opportunity is boundless. Is it the
Yeah.
opportunity is so much more. And the thing is that we just don't know which of the little minds out there that actually can see so much more that we haven't seen now. So that's something that we should inculcate since young. So that I
Mm-hmm.
see that. Yep. And
Okay.
yep, I think that's something that um any one of us can do.
I agree. I agree that there are abundance of opportunity out there. It's just a matter of making the choices that you want to make and own that choice, right?
Yes.
So if you
Yeah.
could
And it's
leave,
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
continue what?
No, and I was saying that because I mean, sometimes we always been talking about the external motivator. Sometimes what we need to grow or need to build is the internal motivators, right? So the internal motivations for them to want to do this, be it women in leadership, women sciences, or and all
Mm,
that. So it is the internal motivations always the biggest force to how to say they can push things to happen.
right. So if there's an opportunity for you to say something to our future generation of tech leaders, especially the girls out there, what would it
Mhm.
be?
I would say that build your competence, right? Find your values, find your purpose, and then go out there, definitely meet people, do network. I would say that being the professional network, be it online networking or be it face to face and everything. I think, of course, face to face, everything can be more casual. You can be like, see somebody that you've seen from LinkedIn and you'll be like, hey, guess what? I followed you on LinkedIn, I want to know more. And I think a lot more people are actually very open in terms of sharing their knowledge.
Yeah,
So the thing is that for the women out there or for the girls that is currently still building competence and all that, right? Do all that, build competence and everything, go out, find opportunities and all that. Because the thing is that when you're given the opportunities or when you have the opportunities, right, you are ready, you know, you are
absolutely.
you are ready. So yeah.
Yeah,
And if you need a lot of time, they'll be like, I don't know whether I have the support systems and all that. I think all of us do have been coming across, be it professional networks or be it women in technology networks, be it MyVis, right? There's Malaysian Women Security or Women in Tech and all that, have always been around. Reach out, just drop a hello. You'd be surprised at how much, how to say, knowledge or even assistance that you can get. Yeah.
great. Great. Okay. I do need to ask you one more question because
Sure.
of all the portfolios that you are managing, how do you manage your time, Dr. Teoh?
Okay, so there's something that I always find that we need to be, as you say, that uh be purposeful, right? So the things that I always find that for us to do anything, first of all, you need to plan out. So like in this year or in this month or like in this next couple of years, what you want to do, what you want to focus on and everything. And you plan it out. And you have to be like, I mean, I try to start training to be healthier, perhaps. So it's like, of course, I mean, all of us would be like, no time. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, but then the thing is that what I told myself is that 20 minutes on treadmill is better than ideally I should do 1 hour. So, so the thing is that we don't have to go for all the grandeur things, right? So as you say, um, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes on a treadmill or whatever is still better than, oh, ideally I should do 1 hour. So, right. So that's something that we do that. So sometimes if you do your 10 minutes, that's good. It's better than zero, right?
right,
So
right.
yeah, so I think that's something that we have to do that. And if you've set yourself like to say that I'm gonna read like at least one paper, this week. So the thing is that do that, and then by the time that you know that you got 3 days left, you'll be AG and you'll be like, okay, I need to do that. So I think that is something that how to say um so I do. So the thing is that set little milestones, but sometimes if you hit the 70%, if you say you want to do 1 hour, you do 30 minutes, or that's fine. And I think sometimes we also should balance that we need to take care of ourselves in terms of wellness and everything. So we do what we can. If we can't tick all the boxes this week, there's always next week. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's something that we have to tell us about, especially women, working professionals and everything. So take a breather.
Yes. All right. Well, this is why I love talking to women leaders like you.
Yeah.
Truly, I get very driven and motivated. And so I thank you so much, Dr. Teo, for spending the past half an hour with us.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I hope to see you again in our future with projects.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aslina. Thank you, Visa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.